Do you know that you pick up your phone 2,600 times per day? That's because you are addicted. But don't worry, we are all addicted, me included. I think everybody who owns a smartphone is addicted to it. That's because those devices are magical. I mean, they bring the world's knowledge into your pocket. The main problem is not the functionalities of your smartphone. No, it's that it's so highly addictive. And if you go out into the wild, into the public, and for example, take the metro, you see all the people staring at the screen, doom scrolling, doing something on the phone, and they look like hypnotized zombies. So the question remains, who hypnotized them? Some evil overlord, maybe? Yes, in a way, yes. Some Silicon Valley overlord mostly. And those Silicon Valley companies invest billions of dollars to keep you hooked, to keep you hypnotized. So let me be your Morpheus and let me take you out of the matrix. But why should you trust me? Why should you trust some random guy with a funny Austrian German accent on YouTube? That's a good question, and I think you should never trust or verify. But what I'm telling you here is just my personal experience. In the last years, I tried a lot of things to stop doom scrolling, to use my phone less. And to be honest, a lot of those strategies failed, but some of them not. Some of them were successful. What did I do? Well, I mainly tried to make my phone more boring, and I did that not by replacing my phone with a damp phone. That's something a lot of people are doing, just to buy a boring phone that is not allowing yourself to install apps. I think it's an option, and if you want to go the extreme path, you can do that. But I think for a lot of people, it's not feasible because they still want to use a smartphone. They just want to use it in a more mindful way. And if you are one of those people, you can still make your smartphone more boring. And the first step in doing so is to delete apps that hook you, apps that lead to doom scrolling. Mostly in my case, those apps were social media apps like Instagram or X. X specifically was my kryptonite. I was doom scrolling all the time on X. I was really hooked, addicted. So I had to delete it and I switched to the desktop version. You can also use the desktop version of Instagram or TikTok. And the good thing about the desktop versions of those apps is that they are less addictive. First, the desktop as a whole is less addictive because it's not in your pocket. Mostly it's stationary in your home. A lot of those apps are also not well designed for the desktop or for the browser version. So if you still want to consume social media, do it on your desktop, not on your phone. But I quickly realized deleting apps is not enough because you tend to find replacement apps. So instead of doom scrolling social media, I was now doom scrolling my Gmail app or Wikipedia or Google Maps. And of course, you could now argue, well, checking your emails is less toxic than checking a toxic X feed. But still, it's not ideal because you are not checking your emails because you have to, because you decided to do it. No, you're just checking it because you got triggered, because you got a notification or something. And that's the thing I mean with cognitive sovereignty. So, what did I do to fix that? Well, I replaced my phone with this. Well, I didn't replace it, but I incorporated this notebook into my life. When I feel the urge to pick up my phone, I try to grab this notebook instead. Very often, for example, I was taking the metro and then the urge was, okay, let's pick up the smartphone and yeah, check emails. So instead of doing that, I was picking up the notebook and writing down trigger checking emails or trigger contacting friend or trigger fact checking something I was thinking about. With doing that, I actually separated the trigger with the action because I still, in most cases, when I arrived at home, for example, I allowed myself to contact my friends, of course, to fact check something or to write an email or check my emails. But what is important, I did it on my own terms in a time slot I choose myself, not just because I got triggered. And I think that's important thing if you want to regain your cognitive sovereignty, that you don't let yourself get ruled by triggers. No, you define yourself when you're using the smartphone. And that's the healthy way of using a smartphone, to have time slots when you are allowed to doom scroll. And that helped me enormously. And I think the main reason why it succeeded was because I replaced a bad or kind of negative habit with something that was more productive. And that's something you have to keep in mind when you try to get rid of a habit. Often it's not enough to just stop doing something. No, you have to replace that with a more positive habit. Otherwise, you quickly fall back into that negative habit again. Because in many cases, there's a reason why you started this habit, why you started this negative habit in the first place. In the case of smartphone doom scrolling, we do that because we feel bored, and that's a very quick fix to escape boredom. And instead of fixing that with a smartphone, I try to fix that with a notebook where I first write down the triggers to be more aware what is happening, why I'm reaching to my smartphone. And second, I can use the notebook to write down my thoughts, to structure my thoughts and keep myself occupied. So that are the things that helped me a lot in the past to reduce my doom scrolling time. I'm totally sure that there's not a one size fits it all solution. So for some people, those tips might work better than for others. But I still hope that this video was helpful for you. Thank you very much for being here, for following me, and see you next time.